Hello Booktube, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. Sorry, I've paused then because I've never said hello Booktube before. That's just weird. Hello hello, just hello. Leave it there. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time. I'm going to do a book tag. And this book tag, I've got some prompts up here on my TV this time, which is quite exciting. And I was tagged by Gavin at Johno Books. So very grateful to Gavin. I've been watching his videos a lot lately and he's a really interesting channel. Go check him out. Leave the link below. Gavin at Johno Books. And it was originally started, just going back to my TV, it was originally started by Aaron Read a Book, or Aaron Read a Book. I love the fact that he always gives you two options for how to say his name. I love it. Aaron Read a Book or Aaron Read a Book. He's awesome. I've spoken about him before. Please have a look at his channel. He's fantastic. And it's quite an interesting tag. Basically, he's just taken channels' names and made some book prompts out of the names. Book prompts out of the names, which is awesome. It's such a nice idea. And actually, the books I've chosen, a lot of them I haven't spoken about before or not very often. So it's quite a nice set of prompts for that reason as well, because sometimes with the book tags I get drawn to saying the same things or the same books, so I try not to do that, but I do it sometimes. You know, can't resist it. So let's have a look at what the prompts are. So remember, these are prompts made from booktubers' names, so I think that's really cool. So the first prompt comes from the channel called Books I'm Not Reading, and the prompt is a book that's been on your TBR forever. So this is one that I was so excited to buy, and then I still haven't read it. It's ridiculous. Maybe I've read it by the time you watch this video, because I don't know when I'm going to schedule this up, probably in a couple of weeks. But anyway, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. So this is apparently even better than The Martian. The Martian's was one of the best books ever. So yeah, I really need to read this. It's ridiculous. And this has been on my TBR for ages. So pretty much as soon as it went into to paperback, I bought it. I didn't really want a hardback version, and I haven't read it yet, and I need to read it because I'm sure I'm going to absolutely love it. So I'm an idiot. So that's the book I've chosen for that. Do you want to know what it's about? You want to know what it's about? A lone astronaut, an impossible mission, an ally he never imagined. Ryland Grace is the sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission, and if he fails, humanity and the earth itself will perish. But right now, he doesn't know that. All he knows is that he's been asleep for a very, very long time, and he's just woken to find himself hurtling through space, millions of miles from home, and it's up to him to puzzle out an impossible scientific mystery, and he's got to do it all alone. Or does he? Apparently there's a couple of twists and turns in it as well. So that was the first prompt. The second one is Novel Idea. So that's the channel name. A book with an interesting premise or plot device. And I've gone with a Claire North book. She's good at her big concepts. The Sudden Appearance of Hope by Claire North. I'm a big fan of Claire North. I've raved about her before. I really think she's fantastic. I love her to death. So check out the video I did on Claire North as well, about 2 years ago. My name is Hope Arden. I am the girl the world forgets. It started when I was 16 years old. A father forgetting to drive me to school. A mother setting the table for 3, not 4. A friend who looks at me and sees a stranger. No matter what I do, the words I say, the crimes I commit, you'll never remember who I am. That makes my life tricky, but it also makes me dangerous. Basically, if she's talking to someone and they look away, they forget she exists if they stop looking at her. It's such a brilliant idea, and basically Hope decides to do something with this curse / gift. It's really cool. Sudden Appearance of Hope. I really would recommend this one. So there you are. That's the second prompt. The third prompt, Revenant Reads. So Revenant Reads, who created the Historathon event and also created Book Trek, and I'm a co-host for both of those things. So me and Vin do talk a fair amount. But he runs the channel called Reverend Reads. Hi, Vin. And that is a book where someone has returned from the dead. And I'm actually going to choose a book written by a friend of mine. So this is a local author. He's written tons and tons of non-fiction books that are kind of skeptic books on agnosticism and atheism and that kind of thing. And he decided to go into fiction. And he wrote a book called Survival of the Fittest, Metamorphosis. He wrote a sequel to this as well. His name's Jonathan Pierce. He's got 2 YouTube channels. One is a very political one and one's a philosophical one. He's a very clever man. He's a lovely friend. And this is a really good book. So Metamorphosis, it's a zombie book. And because he's a philosopher, there are some sort of deviant moments where it goes into philosophy with characters kind of musing on death and the meaning of life during a zombie apocalypse. It's really good. So Metamorphosis, Jonathan Pierce. That's the 3rd prompt. 4th prompt, Criminoli. So Ollie from Criminoli, he's been mentioned here. A book where a crime takes place. And you may have seen my recent video on John Scalzi, I'm not sure, but this is a John Scalzi book I've chosen called Lock-In. I think this is really good. So I'll just read you the back. 15 years from now, a new virus sweeps the globe. Most of those afflicted experience nothing worse than fever and headaches. A few suffer acute meningitis, creating the largest medical crisis in history. And 1% find themselves locked in, fully awake and aware, but unable to move or respond to stimulus. It may not seem like a lot, but in the US, that's 1.7 million people locked in, including the president's wife and daughter. Spurred by grief and the sheer magnitude of the suffering, America undertakes a massive scientific initiative. Nothing can fully restore the locked in, but 2 new technologies emerge to help. One is a virtual reality environment, the Agora, where the locked in can interact with other humans, and the second is the discovery that a few rare individuals have brains that are receptive to being controlled by others, allowing the locked in to occasionally use their bodies as if they were their own. This skill is quickly regulated, licensed, bonded, and controlled. Nothing can go wrong. Certainly nobody would be tempted to misuse it for murder or for political power or worse. It's really good. So John Scalzi's book, Lock-In, with a nice big concept behind it with a kind of a murder mystery kind of thing wrapped around it as well. Okay, so the next one, Book Time with Elvis. Mark from Book Time with Elvis. So Mark, who lives in the Czech Republic, and sounds like he grew up in England, but he grew up in Bermuda. Lovely man. A book about time travel, or someone named Elvis. I love that. 3 options. I've gone with time travel book. One of my favourite time travel books, The Man Who Folded Himself by David Gerrold. David Gerrold wrote for Star Trek, but he's a good writer, and this is a really good book. It's not very long, actually, but it's a really good book. It's one of my favourite time travel books. And it's one of those books like Back to the Future Part 2, where it's like the time loop goes a little bit mental. Yeah, it's just brilliant. Yeah, I don't think it's going to help for me reading the back of it. But yeah, it's really good. It's a really nice kind of energetic but imaginative way of looking at time travel. The Man Who Folded Himself, David Gerrold. Okay, the next one, number 6, is Middle of the Book March. A really good channel. Definitely recommend you look at Kim's channel, Middle of the Book March. And it says your favourite book that you read in March. So I had a look at what I read in March, and there was a clear winner. This book is so brilliant. Stephen King's The Outsider. So I read this as part of the All About Holly book project, where me and 4 other people that had channels read all 6 books that featured Holly Gibney, and then culminating in the one called Holly that he released fairly recently. And I really like this. I thought it was brilliant. I did like all of them, to be fair. All 6 books I thought were really good, but this was one of my favourites. It kept me gripped. I'll read the back. A horrifying crime. Watertight evidence points to a single suspect, except he was 70 miles away with an ironclad alibi. Detective Anderson sets out to investigate the impossible. How can the suspect have been both at the scene of the crime and in another town? So yeah, The Outsider, really, really good. It's gone on funny again. Hold on. Okay, the next one, number 7, Book Buds, Joe and Mary. Book Buds, a book with a great friendship. I love that because they're great together on screen. Book Buds, a book with a great friendship. And I'm going with Day Zero by C. Roberts Cargill. I love this book. I think it's awesome. This is a prequel to Sea of Rust, which I thought was brilliant. And then he decided to write a book that was based on what happened as the robot apocalypse was happening, rather than Sea of Rust, which is set after the robot apocalypse has already pretty much wiped out humans. And this is about a nanny bot. It's a tiger that has been programmed to look after Ezra, and you know, all the chaos that's happening. They have to kind of survive together. And it's just really, really cool. And the ending is really sweet. So yeah, Day Zero, C. Robert Cargill, it's fantastic. I love it. And yeah, Pounce and Ezra, great friendship. Okay, so the next one, Obscure Book Adventures, a book that you love that never gets talked about. So this book would fit, but I'm going to go expand it, and I'm going to talk about not an author necessarily, but an illustrator, because you'd have to get books by this person to appreciate their art and their work, but they're not textbooks. It's picture books because he's a cartoonist. So I'm talking about Charles Addams, and I'm holding this book up because this is a really good book to get if you want a general book on Charles Addams with some of the most famous Addams cartoons. The Addams Family is the most famous iteration of his cartoons. He did do some cartoons that weren't Addams Family cartoons, but this is a really good book which has them writ large on the page, and this is very Addams Family. Can you see that? If there's anything you need, just scream. So yeah, I love the Addams Family. I love Charles Addams, and I think he's fully underappreciated on YouTube, and I'll try to correct that. I've done a number of videos where I mentioned Charles Addams, one specifically about him as well, which you might enjoy, and one where I did one which was about Edward Gorey, Gahan Wilson, Charles Addams, and Tim Burton. The whole video was about the 4 of them. But yeah, that's my choice for that one. Number 9, Savage Reads, a book with a monster or a beast or human acting monstrous or beastly. And I've had this author on my mind recently, and I thought it'd be really cool to mention Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. So Metamorphosis is a legendary story that's become part of our not just part of our culture, but part of our language, with Metamorphosis having an impact on the idea of being Kafkaesque and all that. And a man called Kay wakes up as a bug. No reason for it. A huge 5-foot insect. And his first thought is that he can't go to work, and he's worried about letting his work manager down and all that sort of stuff. It's a wonderful story, and worth mentioning here as an example of a monster, because he basically turns into a monster, and it's just absolute genius. So there we are. Okay, and then me get it back again, get my prompts back again. The last one, a book that fits your own channel name or the name of a channel that you love. So my channel is Books, Songs and Other Magic, so I guess I thought I could go with the songs aspect of the name and talk about a book that features songs. And songs is in the title of this one. This is a book about arguably my favourite band, XTC, Songs and Stories, and this is a really good book because every single song by XTC is analysed with detail about how it was recorded and some aspects about its writing and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's a brilliant book, and if you're a fan of XTC, you'd enjoy that. So XTC Songs and Stories is my choice for that one. Right, I've got some people to tag now because the 11th prompt is to tag some people. So these are people I haven't tagged for a while, and some of them are based on the London Booktuber meetups that we've had, and they've been on my mind recently as well. And I'm going to tag Charlie Book Reads, Novels, Emily, Charlie's sister, Matt from Bask in the Story, Jim from Mystery and Mayhem, Crystal from Fiber Artsy, Bookbound Weirdo. Hopefully Celeste will be up for doing it. Charlotte, Chatty the Mad Chatter, and Alex Unabridged. Those are the people I'm tagging. I thought it was quite an interesting way of talking about those books. So thanks for watching. Stay curious, everybody.
Paint me a picture of what it's like to be